I'm all behind like a cow's tail. I only just made it. Oh, for fuck's sake. Go away. That's it. I need wine. Where's my ice cubes? Oh, God above, what a night. What a night. Hello, my loves. Oh, let me get my breath back. God above. Oh, I rushed in here with about 3.5 minutes to spare. Are you on the wonk? You are, aren't you? Why are you on the wonk? Can't leave you alone for a moment. Sort yourselves out, my dears. I'll unwonk you. There you go. How's that? How does that look? Everything's gone wrong. You're still a bit wonky. Come on, work with me. There you go. Oh, God above. Tonight's video didn't upload. I think it's uploaded now, but it didn't bloody well upload when it was supposed to. I've had virtually no broadband today. The weasels are doing something out there and things aren't working and I am flustered. I'm flustered. I need wine. Talk amongst yourselves. Oh. Bloody hell. And breathe. Big breaths. Yes, and I'm only 16. Oh, just give me the bottle and a straw tonight. I tell you. Oh, hello, my lovelies. Of course, it goes without saying that it is, tricky chaps words, it is a sheer orgasmic joy to be here with you, sharing this time and this space in an atmosphere of openness and nothing short of love. There, I said it. Now then, how you all doing, my lovelies? Let's see who we've got with us. 17 people watching. That's not bad for a Wednesday, is it? 17 people. My goodness gracious me. Jimmy Quinn is with us. Good evening, Mr. George Roger Boaty. Mr. George Roger Boaty is with us, yeah, Mr. George Roger Boaty now has an official voice, as those of you who have watched tonight's video will know, or anybody in the Facebook group. Search Facebook for Boaty's World. It's great. You'll love it. Underscore is in our midst. Underscore has come amongst us. Oof. Have your trousers arrived yet? Underscore. Simon is with us and opens with his trademark, hey up, people of interwebs. Jimmy Quinn is with us again. That's nice, he's with us twice. Chaz Brown is with us. Splendid. Good evening, Chaz. Hooked on Classics, one of our community channels, along with Project MGTF. The lovely Simone is with us. Good evening, Simone. Thank you for joining us. He ignored all wine warnings last night, Simon. I accept no responsibility for you deserting your post, expecting us to do a sufficient job. Yeah, well, boogie like it's the 70s. Too right. Do it like they do it in Scunthorpe. Ugh. Bad Books is with us. Good evening, Bonnie lad. Good evening to you. First message held for review is tune. It is a tune, Jimmy. Where's the dancing? We're being shortchanged. Bugger you being shortchanged, quite frankly. I raced home at the speed, honest to God. I drove home. I was in Shison tonight because I needed to put some fuel in them. And I bombed home at a rate that I haven't bombed home since one of my favourite videos where I raced the night on the longest night of the year. No, I don't mean that, do I? I mean the shortest night of the year, the longest day of the year. I left the restaurant later than I expected to and tried to get back before it got completely dark, and I just about did it. And I was thraping poor Shison. Oh, fucking hell, Boaty, that's the best video yet. Not long, and that's all I got to see of that comment. But it looks like somebody, Sid Snot that was, it looks like somebody enjoyed tonight's video, which is heartwarming and buttock clenching and all sorts of other things. Sod your refund, TP. You got in for nothing. What's the matter with you? Yeah, so you're not being shortchanged. I've moved heaven and earth to be here with you on time tonight. So no, there wasn't any dancing because I had to run around and sort things and get wine, and I haven't even, you can't see, I haven't unpacked or put anything away. I've got a bag of shopping there on the cooker. I've done nothing. I've just come in, dumped everything, ran upstairs, had a wee before I wet myself, and I'm here. So sod off with you being shortchanged. Where's the gratitude for my bloody efforts? Ivor Spotty Butty is with us. Jimmy Quinn comes out with a very shoestring sheddish strippers. Dance Boaty, dance like Jeeves when he thinks the cameras are turned off. What? Simone claims that she's not on the wonk. Don't get him stripping. We'll get you a spirit level. If you were on the other tripod, it's got a spirit level built in, but you're not. You're on Sonia, my little, and that's Sonia with a J, because that's exotic. And as I've told you before, the little mini tripod that you can't see, I'm pointing at it, but you can't see it because you're mounted on it. In fact, the tripod is inserted into your underpinnings. Oh, no, it's not. No, it's not on that one, is it? No, the tripod is clutching you. Sonia is clutching you in her little elasticated arms. And yeah, the tripod is named after a small person I know called Sonia, a foreign small person who is small but in many ways perfectly formed, much like that tripod. Oh, God above. Yeah, totally wonkered. How's Boaty, says the lovely Matt. I'm all right. I'll be all right in a minute. Just a tad flustered. Everything went wrong at home today, and then things went wrong tonight at work. The front of house chap decided that he was going to be locked out of his house or some such, and couldn't make it into work. So the big boss and Mrs. Big Boss came to help us out, which is nice, except they're not particularly au fait with the doings of this restaurant because they don't spend any time there. And just as I was planning to, it wasn't a busy night, not by any manner of means, so that wasn't a problem. But just as I was planning to squiddle myself away and get back here in plenty of time, Mr. Big Boss decided he wanted a business meeting with me and to discuss this and that and a little bit of the other as well. So, yeah, that is why I'm all behind like a cow's tail. However, every cloud. Oh, it's Burns Night. Happy Burns Night to everybody who celebrates it. And it's Welsh Valentine's Day. So, interfere with a Welsh person and raise a glass to, what's his face? What's it? The haggis chap. Ode to a haggis or whatever the hell it was. Oh, Rabbie Burns. Yeah, that's why it's called Burns Night, isn't it? You great tool. What's the matter with you? Pull yourself together, for God's sake. All right, so you got here a bit late. You're a bit flustered. But that is no excuse for unprofessionalism. You're only here for an hour. For God's sake, make the effort to get it right. Honestly. You just can't get the staff in this day and age. You really can't. Anybody want a job in a restaurant, by the way? So I'm all right. I'm absolutely fine, Matt. And thank you for asking. It's very kind of you to care. But the silver lining to this particular cloud is of Mr. Big Boss Man and Mrs. Big Boss Man being about is I went out and got a chicken and we've got staff curry, which is, never less than a joy, really. If you ate it, you would experience the best of its kind. It would be the nicest thing that you'd ever put into your mouth, unless you'd suckled upon Claudia Winkleman's left nipple. Now then, bit of a Jimmy Savile impression there, huh? Dear, well, that was inadvertent. Evening, this is directed at Simone from Simon. Evening, newly proud owner of a floppy, foldy project of joy. Right, Simone, I obviously need to catch up with your videos because I've not got a clue what either he or you are talking about. You mentioned a floppy thing before. I'm going to take a wild guess, a floppy folding thing. I'm going to take a wild guess. And didn't you say the other night that it had wheels? I'm going to go for a trailer tent or folding caravan type thing. I'm probably a million miles away. I'm internet famous now. What? Says Roger Boaty. And indeed you are. Ashley Stewart is here. And I'm so pleased about that. Honestly, I could almost cry. The tears could almost roll down my trouser legs. Jabberwocky 220 GTI is here. One of Liz's, at least two identities. But it's Liz, and we love Liz. Liz is wonderful. Liz is a splendid lady in so many requests that I can almost not enumerate them. But just to give you some Liz highlights. She's a Pastafarian. She's about to become a Pastafarian minister. She's got an amazing collection of MG Rover cars. And not the crap that the rest of us have got. The good ones, the hot stuff, the rare ones, the powerful ones. And she's just generally wonderful in a million ways. I've been going to PNHQ for 9 months, something like that. Never had a cup of coffee. It wouldn't occur to Mustard to cater for me, his best friend who rocks up there week in, week out. He wouldn't think about organising a cup of coffee for me because it's my hot beverage of choice and might quite like it on a cold winter's day. Whereas Liz, bless her, thought about it immediately and provided unto PNHQ some nice individual filter coffees for me. And Mustard drank them all, but he did at least replace them. So On my most recent visit, I had coffee, and that's the sort of lady that Liz is. And she bought me lunch. So, top lady in my book. In fact, you are now my favourite Liz. Now then, Alan Dobney is with us. Wonderful. Welcome. The floppy Project of Joy will be very interesting. Already splatted stickers on it. Ron McCulloch is with us. Hello, Ron. Great to have you here, mate. They have indeed, Boaty, says Matt. I don't know what he's talking about. Oh, his trousers have arrived. Oh, this is brilliant. Unfortunately, they attracted a lot less attention when worn in public compared to last night's comments. Right, well, we'll have to work on that, Matt. We will have to make your trousers famous. Chuck a picture of them, possibly with you wearing them, in the Facebook group. And as a community, we will work on getting your trousers the level of interest that they undoubtedly deserve. Not to mention what dwells within them. Simon shouts at me in capital letters, "Don't freeze your wine tonight, you muppet of infinite proportions." I like that. Oh, dear. I saw tonight's vid, says Jimmy Quinn, and I got excited then, thinking that there might be some praise coming. But he follows up with, "It was okay." Well, there you are. I mean, in fairness, I should take that quite happily, because 99.9% of my videos have historically and traditionally been absolute garbage. So, okay is probably high praise. Talk to us lot while you put shopping away. Win-win scenario. Put shopping away. I'm very lucky. I've just invented a new word. Luckle. I'm very lucky, says Ivor Spotty Botty, to be able to watch this fine live stream. Usually I'm at work at this time of the day. Well, your luck is our luck, because we are blessed to have you. Right, that's no, the big boss didn't want Ice Maiden stories, Matt. Oh yes, St. Dinwin's Day, it is indeed, TP, the haggis chap, yeah, whatever. Hello. Oh, the word nipple has been held for review. Well, I've reviewed it and I've permitted it. Nipples are more than welcome in my live streams. I'm just remembering now the joy of, I wonder, do nipples get more sensitive as you get older, I wonder? I don't remember. I mean, I don't often touch my nipples. In fact, the last night, that really is very nice indeed. I don't remember my nipples being this sensitive at all. And at the moment, they really are particularly sensitive. And that really is very pleasant indeed. What a lovely sensation. Passes the time nicely, doesn't it? Right then. Two different floppy things. Come on, Boaty, pull your finger out. Two different floppy things. Well, it does remind me of one of my ex-girlfriends, Roof tents look cool. Not sure the standard streetwise roof bars are suitable, but I intend to find out. Somebody saw a streetwise and a silver MGTF. Did you tell us the car Mustard was doing the impression of yet? No, not yet. I haven't. I've got a load of comments I haven't got round to replying to yet. There's not enough bloody hours in the day, my love, so there really isn't. Nobody has guessed it yet, unsurprisingly. But no, I haven't. I'll probably give it a week. And then I'll let you know, and you'll all be really pissed off, because how he expected you to get it from that, I don't know. I did wonder if somebody might get it by accident, you know. If there were enough guesses, somebody would probably... First one at the live stream, Came early. Excuse me. Thank you so much. Yeah, I thought somebody might get it purely by accident. Well, in fact, getting it by accident is the only way that you'd get it. I mean, some of the guesses were really good. A bumper car was great. I thought a land crab, which quite a few people came up with, I thought that was inspired, given that he was sort of shuffling sideways. But no, nobody's got it yet. And I haven't told anybody what it is. Oh, Jimmy Quinn says, sorry, Boaty, it was excellent. Ah, I feel guilty now. I've shamed you into upgrading my video. Tonight's video was a bit weird. I don't know what I was thinking of when I did it. I was up against time and I was up against a non-working internet. And I did some different things in there that I'm not sure that I should have done. But one idea that I had in tonight's vid that I think was a good idea, I didn't do it very well. Well, I didn't do it well at all in tonight's vid, but I think it's something that I should do. I started mentioning in the rollout, I started mentioning the community side of things because it suddenly occurred to me that I haven't been doing that so much. I've mentioned the Facebook group here and there in the vids, but, I haven't really spoken about what we've done, what we've become, and what we're going to continue evolving into. And I think I should make it more clear that that is what the videos are about, in a way. They're not just me saying, look at me, I'm doing this to show off and possibly for your pleasure. They're part of the community, the same as all of you guys' videos, and I probably need to push that a bit more, but I need to put more than 15 seconds thought and effort into it, which is all I had available. I was rushing around trying to get the thing up before I had to leave for work. And everything just took forever today because the broadband was on a nonsensical go slow. And it's not just uploading the video to YouTube that I need that for. All of the footage that I take across 3 different phones, that all gets uploaded to iCloud. So then on my iPad, I'm down to 1 iPad. I've always worked off 2 iPads, and this one, the new one, is fine, but the old one has died. The touchscreen isn't working, so that's slowed me down a load as well. That's really put the collywobbles on me. But yeah, so this iPad gets thumbnails of the videos, but then I've got to download the thumbnail. I've got to download the full videos from iCloud, so that I can then load them into the editing software, and then when they've been through the edit suite, I have to download them again back to the iPad, and then I have to upload them to YouTube, and then they have to cross-load over to the checky thing and all of that, and it's all been jolly difficult. So some of the ideas I had for tonight's vid were just done, in 30 seconds when they should have been done over 3 hours. But I think it's the right thing to do. I just need to work on making it better, making it make more sense. Right. Oh, you're more than welcome, Mr. Spotty Butty. Oh, there has been a Rover 75 Tourer parked on the corner of our street today. If it's still there tomorrow, I'm calling the council. It may be abandoned. That'll teach them. Another message held for review. Free the nipple. Oh, it could be the cold that makes them sensitive, says TP. Ah, yeah, could be. That really is very pleasant indeed. I've never done this, and now I'm starting to wonder what I've been missing out. Do you touch your own nipples? And that's a genuine question. Do you fondle your own nipples? And if so, does it give you pleasure? I presume it does, otherwise you wouldn't bother doing it. 52 years on this earth, and I haven't realised the pleasure that could be had from just twiddling with one's own nipples, tuning them in to Radio 2. I've got Mr. Boaty playing with his doings. Grunts always talk about nipples. Oh, there's somebody rattling on about some sort of streetwise thing. I'd love to see a warthog, says the Master Chief. Well, who wouldn't? Hello, Boaty, says Rover Joe. Hello, Rover Joe. Good to see you, mate. Thank you for joining us. Another message held review. Oh, Jimmy Quinn agrees with me regarding tonight's video and says, yes, it was fucking weird. It was. I'll hold my hands up to that. It was intentionally weird in some ways because, to be honest with you, it was going to be a pretty boring video. I mean, it's just me driving to PNHQ again, albeit via Wendy Craig's in Mossley. And I thought I'd put some weird stuff in just to weird it out a bit and then flesh it out at the end with the community stuff. But like I say, I just ran out of time and inspiration and whatnot. Hopefully, I'm hoping that there is one phrase in that video that will redeem it. No matter how bad the rest of it is, I'm hoping there is one phrase in there that will make that video worthwhile. And if you've watched it, you probably know which phrase I'm talking about. Maybe each community channel should create a playlist including other community channels' videos. Something to think about. We certainly need to do something in the Facebook group. I had a post in the Facebook group where I just linked the people's names with the name of their channel, so everybody knew who had what channel, because, you know, the channel name doesn't necessarily relate to your name. You know, my name on Facebook is Jason Perry Hughes. You're not going to necessarily connect that to Boaty's World, are you? So I had this post in there saying, you know, so-and-so and his channel is, or her channel is, blah, 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 and then a link to the channel, which I thought was a jolly good wheeze. But pissing Facebook didn't, because they deleted the post, said it was spam, and gave me a 3-day ban. But we need to resurrect something like that. There should be a one-stop pot where you can see all of the channels that are that, you know, fall within our little community thing, so everybody can see who they should be supporting and having a look at. A new game, says Matt. Rover spotting. Upload dashcam photos of rovers seen in one day. Call it Rover there. We could do some stuff like that. Why not? What do you think, says Rover Joe. Boaty, what do you think to a Rover-only valeting business? And he then ruffled. And I'm down with the young person speak. And you might think that you've bamboozled me there, Rover Joe, but you haven't, because I know that ruffle is rolling on the floor laughing. What do I think of a Rover-only valeting business? I wouldn't invest in it myself, let's put it that way. Nathan is with us. Good evening, Boaty, and good evening to you. Black Lines has come in at a very inappropriate time, as he mentions, because he just says nipples. What a topic to come into. Yeah, sorry about that. Blimey, Boaty, says Rover there. Joe, the Kenjoji has whiffled in amongst us. And James Wilson is here. Oh, hang on. Another hidden comment, splendid. Fiddling with his nipples, says George Roger Boaty. It's reminding me of the time Papa was fiddling with the maids whilst I was hiding in the larder. What? That's nice, George. Um, what music do you like, or did you like? And please don't say funk. Is that aimed at me? Okay, well, I'll answer it as if it was aimed at me. Anybody else can feel free to answer it as well, but I'm going to answer it. What music do I like? I have incredibly eclectic taste in music. I like I like bits of music from pretty much all genre, with the exception of that silly hip hop and uh, oh, somebody sent me a friend request. With the exception of hip hop and garage or whatever all of that sort of thing is, but there's bits of most things that I like. I mean, I'm incredibly passionate about opera and classical music. But I like rock, I like pop, not today's pop. I'm an 80s child. I love 80s pop music. Um, I like a bit of country. I like a bit of, there's even some folk music I like. I get, you could probably pick out pretty much any genre and there'd be at least one song that I liked from it. But to give you an idea of some of my favourites, well, obviously my nickname comes from a song called Boat Drinks by Jimmy Buffett. So I'm a big parrot head, as Jimmy Buffett fans are known. What else do I like? Classical music I love, opera I adore. Um, Trying to think of some other. That so much. There's so much. When I was singing myself, obviously I was predominantly a Neil Diamond tribute, and I love the music of Neil Diamond. Um, I once supported the Bee Gees, and I adore the Bee Gees music. There's loads and loads, and you know, way too much to go through. Oasis, I love Oasis. Loads. There's even the odd current thing I like. I like that song by Wet Leg, whatever it's called, Chaise Longue, but this is annoying me actually, because this is where you guys can help me out, possibly. All right. I got introduced to a lot of music of which I wasn't aware, or certainly individual songs of which I wasn't aware, by Rod Gilbert. And yeah, he introduced me to some stuff that I would never have come across otherwise, and I like. An example that springs to mind is a number by Nick Cave and the Bad Scenes, called Dig Lazarus Dig. That was one of Rod's, and I loved that. But there was a song that he played, and I need to have it in my life again, but I can't remember what it's called or who sang it or even how it goes. All that I know is when I listened to that song from Wet Leg, the Chaise Longue one, that I thought, this is very similar to that song, and I'd forgotten about that song, and I'd forgotten how much I liked it. So can you tell me what song it is that I'm trying to think of? It's sung by a woman, and it's really repetitive, like the Chaise Longue one is repetitive, but it kept repeating the same thing over and over and over, and that's all I can remember about it. So good luck trying to help me with that. Boaty, why would you ask a 21-year-old about pleasure from nipples? Well, I didn't specifically. I asked everybody. But at 21, you're old enough to know your own mind, and quite frankly, you're old enough to play with your own nipples. I'm well, let's not talk about the things that we did when we were 21, shall we? I'm behind on Boaty's vid, says Simon. Been out in Henrietta tonight. Much better use of your time. How is Henny? How is Henny? Um, uh, da, da, da. Right. Can you put the channels up as a photo, says TP? That's not a bad idea, actually. In fact, that's probably a very, very good idea. Create a photo album in the Facebook group and just put screenshots of all the channels. Might try and get away with putting links as well. Yeah, that's brilliant idea. Thank you for that, TP. Put the names. Oh, Liz is back on her other ID. Put the names and channels into a Word document, upload that to the files area of the Boaty group, job done. Yeah, that's not a bad idea. I forgot about docs. Not sure how much of it. See, the thing with docs, I used to use docs in Facebook groups a hell of a lot. I used to rely on them. But the problem with docs, unless things have changed, is that you can't access them properly on the app. You need to be on a browser, and you certainly can't create them on the app. You need to be on a browser. And when I started my Facebook groups back in 2008, my original Facebook group was an international Scrabble league. Then everybody was using Facebook on a browser. Now, of course, everybody's using it on an app. So I tend to forget about docs. And in fairness, Facebook did make things more flexible. You could do more with posts, and they became a little bit more like docs, and they developed them, and you could do more with them, which I helped with in my work with the Facebook Power Admin group, which is now closing down. The UK and Ireland group is closing down, and they're rolling it all into a worldwide one, which will make everything just that little bit worse. So I shall probably ignore it, but I will carry on working with the Facebook Europe Learning Lab, because that's a different kettle of halibut. I hate new music. Boaty, do you think a Wedgwood Blue Rover 75 would look good with a matte black bonnet? The paint on mine is shot. I don't know, Simone. I'd probably have to see it. It would probably look, depends if you could carry it off and be happy with it. I mean, if the paintwork on yours is really shot and you put a matte black one on, it's going to look deliberate, and in a way it's going to look better, I suppose. Or would that be, I don't know. I mean, if it was me, I'd just want to be spraying it the right colour. But as a pro tem thing, as an interim thing, or as a style statement, if that's your want, then why not? Why not? Chris Packet. I've added you as a friend on Facebook, Boaty. Thank you, and anybody is more than welcome to do the same. Rock for me, says James, mainly indie rock and Britpop. Boaty, says Rover Joe, I like Slade. Bosh, got a cassette of them in the Rover. I like Slade as well. And I reckon that Mr. Sir Norbert of Hodler, I reckon he's got a massively underrated voice. I reckon he's got one of the top 10 all-time voices in rock. Now, there's a bold statement for you, but I genuinely do. I think there are a lot of amazing voices that have not been recognised. Like, I've always thought, I've said it before, but I've always thought that Waylon Jennings has got one of the best voices across all genres that you could ever hear. But he was never really picked up on outside of a very niche American country music market. That guy could have sang opera. A hidden comment from Simone, who says, modern music sucks ass, or ass. 80s pop is better, I agree. Post-punk, new wave for either, spotty butty. You must like Italian operas. Well, yeah, they're my absolute favourite. And I learned Italian specifically so that I could understand exactly what they were warbling on about. Well, I say I learned Italian. I mean, I learned Italian operas, which means that I speak a very operatic sort of Italian. So, you know, I'd struggle to order a rare steak with a bottle of Puy Fumé, but I could tell the waiter that my love for them was like that of a swallow which returned to the same gatepost every year, which I'm able to do because that is a lyric from an aria called Rondine al Nido. There you go. That's some information you didn't want, but yeah, I adore Italian operas. Absolutely adore them. Oh, KKC, you little tinker. Boaty, the man who put the into country music. Oh, you were a singer then, says Kenji OG. Yeah. I was a singer for quite a number of years. I fronted a Neil Diamond tribute show called Hot August Night. I owned a corporate promotions company where I used to perform in my own cabarets. I was part of a duo called Diamond and Pearls. I worked as a standalone artist. I've told you all about all of this. Came up through the amateur talent competition scene, won a big national, got picked up, had a go at it, went around the world with it, had a lot of fun, earned a lot of money. Yeah, it was all good fun. I have a song suggestion to listen to, says James. The Bad Touch by the Bloodhound Gang. That's a catchy and interesting song if you listen to it. I'm a big Andre Rieu fan. On the flip side, I like Metallica and everything in between. Depends how annoyed at life I am at the time. I love that. Oasis is my favourite band. Right, okay. Oh, The Doors. Yeah, I like The Doors as well. Right, okay. Nick Cave is okay, says Simon, but way too much fashion over form, I think. Well, to be honest, I only know that one song, and I liked that one song. So maybe I didn't like it all of that much because I haven't tried to discover any of his other songs. But Rod used to throw a load of weird stuff in the mix, and I just found that I really liked some of them, and I would never have come across them. And I desperately want to know what that song was. It was a woman, and she just repeated these like weird lyrics. Was it something about God? I don't know. I'd love to know what it was, and I'd love to be able to think of a way to find out. I know he played it. It was on his Radio Wales playlist at least once, but that was so long ago you wouldn't be able to access that anywhere. I get that right. Okay. In case Facebook ban you, can you set up a new account and do it from there? Yes, I've got lots of spare accounts. Most of my favourites are either retired or dead. Dean Mack is with us. Lovely. Good evening to you. Nick Cave is predominantly pop with little hints of darkness. Maybe it was the little hints of darkness that appealed to me. Oh, right. Okay. Oh, dear. The Meat Puppets. Never heard of them. Simone says, I love rock, metal, blues, soul, pop, Black Sabbath. I've got some Black Sabbath stories because a member of Black Sabbath, the, what are they, heavy metal? Are they heavy metal or rock? I don't really know. But anyway, a member of the band was a chum of mine, and he was the nicest guy that you would ever meet. I'm sure I've talked about this before. But yeah, so there was a kind of Black Sabbath connection. He was the loveliest guy, absolutely loveliest guy. I was at the showrooms one day, and he popped in to see me, and I mentioned that it was my stepson's birthday, and that he was a huge fan of Sabbath, and he was in a covers band, my stepson, and they covered a couple of Sabbath numbers. And I said, next time you pop in, Tony, any chance that you could, just drop us off a signed photo or something? And he said, has he got a mobile phone? I said, oh, all kids have got a bloody mobile phone. So he rang him. There and then he rang him and wished him a happy birthday. And sure enough, gave me a load of stuff for him the next time he popped in. I mean, that's over and above, and that's the kind of guy he is. Just an absolutely lovely, lovely, lovely guy. I sold a few cars. I'm a huge Beatles fan. Oh, I forgot about the Beatles. Yeah, I love the Beatles. I've got the Red Album in I've got the Red Album in Shison's stack CD in position 1 and 2 as we speak. Oh, Mustard's with us. Hello. I've only just finished editing. KKC says Jim Lee was the driving force behind Slade. Now we're all saying hello to Mustard, who is explaining why he's late. At least I'm here, though. Well, yes, absolutely. Oh, another hidden comment. How exciting. Boat must have been a... I really wasn't. Waylon Jennings died too soon. I completely agree with you there. Completely agree. Mustard, here he is with his beard and sausages. Oh, Freddie Mercury, fab voice. Yeah. Yeah, he did, to be fair. I wasn't massively into Queen, if I'm honest. But going back to the opera connection, I did enjoy the Barcelona that he did with Montserrat Caballé, who I always rated. I always rated her voice, and I always rather liked her as a person. No mention of status quo yet. I've got a good status quo story. I've got a really good status quo story, if I can remember it. I can't remember it exactly, but I can give you the gist of it. It was a conversation with Midge Ewer, and not unnaturally, as you would, conversation went towards the Live Aid thing, and he told a couple of stories about the Quo lads, which I don't know if he's ever put it out there generally, but I'm trying to remember the stories reasonably properly to tell you. The pair of them were absolutely pissed as rats. They didn't understand the lyrics, and they were singing the lyrics all wrong. But the story I wanted to remember was about the harmonies, and this wasn't actually the Live Aid gig. This was the studio recording, and he couldn't get the harmonies right with the pair of them, and Francis grabbed him afterwards and said, why did, before you tried to do this, why didn't you ask me who recorded both of the harmonies in our stuff? And yeah, apparently the harmonies were one person harmonies, because Rick couldn't harmonize to to save his life. And yeah, there were some other stories about the when they coached them back from the actual gig. And the Quo lads had no idea what it had all been about, and they just pissed in the coach trying to ask people, you know, what the fuck was all of that, and why we were singing about feeding the birds. But anyway, there you are. Liz says, I only know 2 people in Stockport. Okay, I don't know why she just said that, but she has said that, and you know, I think we have to respect that. My favourite artist is dead. Oh dear. Well, sorry to hear that. Not sure what the actual conversation is about, says Mustard, but I really like Supertramp. And why shouldn't you? Duran is bloody awesome too. Sober Proud and all their songs are perfect for playing in a Rover SD1. Sharon. Oh, I've never heard of that one. A Message Health review. This will be filth. I like Black Sabbath very, very much, but Ozzy is, I can't say that word. Sabbath is proto-metal. It was still hard rock back in the 1970s. Yeah, Ozzy was, I only met him once, and well, yeah, that was at a bonfire night party. Yeah, we won't go there. Where did I get to? I Love the Police. Invisible Song is a good song by them. The first heavy metal band ever, so they say. KKC says Tony Iommi. Yeah, Tony was my pal. Such a nice guy. I met him when he'd... I'll tell you how I met him, actually. He lived locally to the showrooms. I've mentioned this before. There's KKC knows. Somewhere down by Baker's Lane, and Carrot lived there, and Bev Bevan, and Tony had a place there. And I met him when he'd left his wife and shacked up with this gorgeous, blonde, young Swedish bit. And I sold him a Mercedes, I think it was a C200, for her. And that was how we met, and we got on. He's a really nice man. I almost adore Iommi. Why shouldn't you? Why should genuinely lovely guy, and not the worst plank spanker, to be fair to him either, is he? You know, especially given that he cut part of his hand off. I hope he's okay. I haven't spoken to him for many years because, you know, obviously I ceased to be part of that world when I sold everything up and left everything behind and moved up here and just settled into life as a house husband and then working part-time with the NHS or whatever, and yeah, just kind of left it all behind. But I do remember seeing that he had the big C, didn't he? So I hope he's okay. Genuinely nice guy. Absolutely no side. He's one of those guys who would introduce himself to you rather than expecting you to know who he was. And you would know who he was because he was all hair and, you know, the round blue glasses. But lovely guy. Where did I get to? Does he still have the false fingers? He certainly did when I knew him. Stephen S. Paul is with us. Mike is with us. Classic Wheels Wales. Oh dear, I'm in trouble with Liz. Boaty, not keen on Queen. Go stand on the naughty step. I wouldn't say that. It's not that I'm not keen on them. you know, I don't mind their music at all. And I used to bang my head at the appropriate place in Bow Rap like everybody else did. I'm just not mega into them. You know what I mean? It's I don't dislike them. I'm not anti them or anything like that. Somebody else saying that Supertramp is decent. Wouldn't know who Supertramp was. Couldn't name one of their songs. Oh, I didn't know about that. When anyone says status quo, I suddenly think of Rocking All Over the World and Les Battersby off Coronation Street, who was a mad fan of them and got punched by Francis Rossi. Ah. Status quo, says Simon, damning them utterly. One all right song, the rest are bland pub rock. I like all music and I can dance to it too, says Dean Mac. Another hidden comment, wonderful. Let's hope it's something really filthy. I went to a record shop and asked if they had anything by the doors. The guy said, yes, a security guard. Now, fuck off. Nice one, Sim. That's quite good, actually. Simon says, I don't know anyone in Stockport. Well, is that a problem for you, Simon? I went on a date with a girl from Stockport, a lady, sorry, and she's lovely. We're still Facebook friends. And she's absolutely lovely, really nice. But huge wigwams and, terrified the life out of me. But Simon, if you would like to know somebody in Stockport, I could introduce you. She's on my friends list, Adele Laura. So there you go. You could know somebody in Stockport, Simon. That could happen for you before it's too late. A while ago, you were talking of rude place names, says Simone. Ramsbottom. Why would they call it after an animal's bumhole? Well, you say that, but, you know, that could be taken in one of two ways. We spoke about Ramsbottom, did Mustard and I, when we were driving to Wendy Craig's place. And we were having a game about place names that could also be instructions for action, which is where Roger Boaty first came from. It's obviously not a place name, but I pretended it was. Well, Ramsbottom works in two potential ways, doesn't it? So, yeah, it could have been named after, as Simone points out, a ram's bottom, but it could also have been named after somebody who did that thing, who rams bottom. You know, maybe it was a place where they had a special festival where on the third Monday of every month, everybody over the age of 21 met up in the market square and indulged in some anal enjoyment. And maybe that was why it was called Ram's Bottom, because when you go there, you see that once a month, they all ram each other's bottoms. And I would guess that, in fact, I'm 99.9% certain that that is how that place got its name. Absolutely convinced of it. Anyway. Hang on, where did we get to? Hang on. Oh God, they're coming in thick and fast. Oh dear. Right, I did that one. I know about 6 in Stockport, says Mustard showing off. Or is that Stockholm? It could be Stockholm Syndrome. Are you talking about people you've kidnapped? Oh, right, yeah, that's where I got to. Oh, was it really? I didn't know that. Do you like Phil Collins and Genesis? No, not well. Again, I don't dislike them. You know, I would, if they came on the wirelessness, I wouldn't turn them off. but I can't think of any Phil Collins or Genesis song that I would purposely turn on for, or turn up, or listen to more than once. Tony Iommi was really, really sick, but much better now. Oh, I'm genuinely glad to hear that. Iommi is still around, does some local stuff with Carrot and Bev Bevan. Oh, does he? That's quite cool, because they were pals, you know, they didn't kind of live together by accident. Carrot and Bev Bevan were really close. I think they went to school together. Yeah, so it's quite cool that they're still doing some local bits. I'd actually go and watch that. I'd like to catch up with them, because the three of them, they were all nice people. Bev was lovely. I'll tell you what he did that surprised me. Again, I sold him a car, and you know, we were friendly acquaintances. And the first Christmas after, I got a Christmas card and a bottle of wine. And I thought, well, that's lovely. I didn't think that, you know, I thought, because when you meet famous people, you don't assume that you're really friends with them. You assume that you're kind of a hanger-on and they're a famous person who are just putting up with you. So I was really quite touched with that. And Carrot was all right as well. He landed a helicopter outside my showrooms, bringing Mike back from a bloody pro celebrity golf tournament, the Flash Git. I say he landed. I don't suppose he was flying on. I expect he commandeered it. Bev Bevan, as in ELO bloke. Yup. Frozen grapes are delicious, frozen wine is not. Boaty, heed Simon's warnings, please. I'm being careful, I'm being good. I've got Star Trekking on vinyl. I loved Star Trekking by The Firm. Star Trekking across the universe on the Starship Enterprise under Captain Kirk. Star Trekking across the universe, boldly going forward because we can't find reverse. That was brilliant. I loved that. I'm a bit worried about wigwams. My ex-teacher called me that. He was a bit naughty. Oh, I see. One of those teachers. Right. Do I get a stamp in my own people from you? Yeah. Your little I Spy, Big Chief I Spy, people from Stockport. Yeah, you get a stamp for that. Right, okay. Shut up, Roger Boaty. I'm not giving their time to that one. Bloody hell. I actually went to public school. Don't talk to me about the things that go on there. This message is held for review. What about cockfosters? A penis drinking a foul beer. Value of the Ram, says Google. Just an hour, eh? Says underscore. Is it over an hour? Sodding hell. Yeah, I was only going to do an hour. Bloody hellfire. Time did not fly, didn't it? So what's your theory on the naming of Licky End boats? I don't know. I'm not gonna go there. I have licked an end in that area. Yeah, I have. In a Jaguar XJS, a nice girl, and I took her on a date to the German Christmas market in Brum. And I can't remember why, but there was a reason that we couldn't go back to her place somewhere around that neck of the woods, not far from Licky. Well, not far, no, not Licky End, because that's Bromsgrove way in it, but not far from Licky itself, the town side. And she wasn't willing to schlep out to mine. And I was in my XJS, the last XJS I ever owned, which was one of the last of the line facelift 4 litres. Yeah, we parked up in the Licky Hills, and all I can say about that is I'm 6'5", and that sort of thing on a cold December night is jolly difficult. In the Jaguar XJS, there's for an enormous car, there's very little podgering room in the bloody thing. I managed it, don't worry, I did manage it. I wonder what her name was. She tasted nice anyway. Do you like Dire Straits? I hope he does. Right, Dire Straits. I actually used to do a Dire Straits number when I was doing cabaret, general cabaret, rather than a strict Diamond tribute show. When I was doing my own cabaret stuff, rather than a Hot August Night show, I used to open with Walk of Life, and I used to love singing that. And I've now got a flashback memory of, I did a residency in a hotel in Tunisia, in Port El Kantawi. I was holed up. I spent a bit of time in North Africa, and it included that time. And yeah, I can remember that I used to open with Walk of Life, and the holiday Brits used to go mental. But I used to love singing that song, so yeah. Yeah, I should give a shout out to Dire Straits because I earned money from one of their songs. Have you heard of Tony Christie, sadly diagnosed with dementia, but still going on, and he's still doing what he loves? He's the same age as my grandma, but by God, is this the way to Amarillo? Is lovely. Oh, poor chap. I believe my neighbours are in for a bad night. I'm getting the record player out. Simone says, I met Jasper Cadet in '97. He signed one of his records for me, the one with Magic Roundabout on it. I can tell you exactly what that record was. Simonity YouTube channels. That was a record called Funky Moped, which was a piss take of a song, another song called Little Big Bike, right? And the record sold, but it only sold because of the B-side, which was, as Simone has pointed out, Magic Roundabout. And it didn't sell because of the A-side, it only sold because of the B-side, the piss take of Magic Roundabout. And it got him on Top of the Pops, and he did the full piss take in the full white suit and dark glasses and all of that. And it got him in the charts. And a lot of people, when they're booking acts, will just go down the charts. And this happened. He got a booking at Scunthorpe Baths, Scunthorpe swimming pool. And once a month, they used to cover the swimming pool over and put an event on. And they'd obviously gone down the charts, and they saw Funky Moped, Jasper Carrot. And they assumed that Jasper Carrot was the name of a band. And so they kind of booked him sight unseen. And he rocked up to Scunthorpe Baths when he was just half folk singer, half comedian. So he just rocked up with his guitar to a group of, and there was a massive horde of young yobbos in there, expecting some sort of rock group. And obviously he died on his arse. He was lucky to get out of there alive. But yeah, so there you go. That was the record that he would have signed for you. If it's the one with Magic Roundabout on it, then that was the B-side, and the A-side was Funky Moped. It's worse than that. It's Dead Jim, Dead Jim, Dead Jim. It's worse than that. It's Dead Jim, Dead Jim. Yeah. I love Star Trekking. It was awesome. Even my father loved Star Trekking. I also loved Star Trek, the original. I've never watched any of the others, but yeah, I was a fan of the original series of Star Trek. It was great. Oh dear, the green shirt and the red shirt. And you knew that if somebody beamed down to a planet in a red shirt, they weren't coming back. Only the green shirts were coming back. Set your phasers to stun. What did you have for dinner? Asks Simon. Well, I haven't had dinner. I never do. For supper, I will be having staff curry, which is a kind of kukuramasu with rice, and I've got roti tonight. But if you mean lunch, did you tell me what you had? Did I read it out? Oh yeah, you had sausage, chips and beans. Of course you did. I had, Simon, roast beef, rare, with roast potatoes, roasted in infused olive oil with black pepper and herbs, fresh green beans tossed in butter and black pepper, Yorkshire puddings, horseradish, hot horseradish, and and beef gravy, and that was it. And it was fabulous. We used to sing Star Trek when I was on the car rally scene in the late 1980s. It's worse than that. It's fuck Jim. Mustard's buggering off. Good night, Mustard. I'm only 5'10", says Rover Joe. Wish I was a little taller. There'll be Oh, Roger Boaty, sometimes you're worth your weight in gold, you are. There'll be no bloody stories of that type tonight, please. Jeeves was an hour late getting out of bed this morning, and it wasn't his bed. What? That bloody housekeeper has no morals. What? Wants horse whipping, dear boy. Horse whipping, I tell you. Oh, dear me. Okay, that one got me. That one absolutely got me. Oh, hello, Trace is here. Evening all, says Trace. XJS, you should have bent her over the bonnet. Well, I didn't want to risk marking the bonnet in any way, shape or form, and it was bloody December, and it was absolutely freezing cold. I think we had to open the door in order for me to get some purchase. I should watch everything I missed on Catch Up Tomorrow or something. Lol at you yawning, Boaty. We kept you up last night. You did indeed. God, it was gone 3 o'clock by the time I got to bed again. I'm not hanging around that late. I can't do another... oh, no. No. We will cut it short fairly soon tonight. Well, not short. We'll cut it long. I'm only supposed to be doing a bloody hour. At least I haven't got to cook tonight. I've got staff curry, so, that'll make life a bit easier. And at least that bloody video has managed to upload itself. And another job I was going to have to do tonight, I managed to do at work with the with Bishnu, so I don't have to worry about that. So maybe I'll actually get half an hour to relax tonight. That would be nice. Pottering in a car. Oh my God. Been many a year since I've had the pleasure. Yeah, me too. When was the last time I did a car pottering? Oh, it's probably... How long have I been split up from Chinese Madam? It's probably about 18 months since I have, and it was Chinese Madam on the way back from a day out in Llandudno in a motorway services car park. I was halfway down a Greg's sausage roll when she leapt on me. God, that sounds awful, but it's absolutely true. Oh my God Almighty! And we were driving. I was driving a Ford C-Max, and yeah, that was the. I was halfway down a Greg's sausage roll. I hadn't intended to buy it. We stopped so she could go to the loo, and there was a Greg's there, and I just thought I really fancy a Greg's sausage roll, and they had one, and I went and bought it, and she'd been to the loo, and I was luxuriating in the C-Max, enjoying this rare treat of a lovely, soggy, tasty Greg's sausage roll. This would have been, I don't know, 8 o'clock at night, something like that. And I can't remember the services, but it was the one. It was the one on. Is it on the motorway or the dual carriageway? Before you get to the Manchester Ringway, Ring Road. That one. The one I normally stop at on the way back from North Wales, that one, the one with the Greg's, and where there's like parking up in the trees bit near the Greg's, which is unfortunately where I parked, and why she felt okay with pouncing on. I mean, she could have let me finish the sausage roll. Well, actually, I think I did finish the sausage roll. I probably did. I remember I was really enjoying it. I bet I finished it off before I really got into it. Although that wasn't one of the times where I was up for it that time, let's be honest. I mean, that's Llandudno for you. I mean, if you go and spend the day somewhere where there is the UK's only cable-hauled tram, where there is the magnificent views from the Great Orme, there's a cable car, there's a fantastic drive, you're going to come back horny, aren't you? I mean, yeah, you are. Even the most flabby and floppy hearted of you, you're going to get your funk on at that. And I certainly did. Now, Simon says, how's the plan for picking up the new car going? Good question. Well, Simon, I'm waiting to hear from the chap that the car has been into the garage. He didn't say when, he said it was going to be sometime this week. And it's supposed to be going into the garage to have the cable, the bonnet. He can't get into the bonnet. The bonnet cable is stretched or snapped or broken or something's happened. And he'd laid it up for a short while, and he'd removed the battery and kept the battery on a trickle charge, and now he can't open the bonnet. So it's supposed to be being taken into the garage this week at some point. They're getting into the bonnet. They will be sorting out all of the new bonnet cable and stuff, banging the battery or a new battery on it after it's been tested, giving it a general check over to make sure that everything's tickety-boo, and yeah. So as soon as he lets me know that that's all been done, then we will arrange, assuming everything's going ahead, and I've got no reason to think that it isn't, then we can arrange picking it up. I'm hoping it's going to be, I'm still hoping it's going to be next Monday, or if not, then the Monday after. I'm excited about the whole thing. Obviously, I'm excited about the car, but I'm also excited about the day out. The day out. I love an adventure like that. I really do. Taxis, trains, getting across London on a tube, taking a packed lunch, going right down to the south coast, and and then the adventure of driving back in a brand new car, and it's a car that I haven't driven for as long as I can remember. So I'm really excited about it, but I'm trying not to be, just in case something goes wrong, something goes awry. I haven't sent any money for the car or anything like that. This has all just been done by message on trust and whatnot. So I've got no reason to think it's not going ahead, but you know, I don't know what's happening as yet. So hopefully that answers that. Is this the way to Ramadil? Oh dear. Oh, mic's off. Right. Good night, Mike. Take care, mate. Thank you for popping in. Matt says it's actually getting lively in the chat. It's quite cool to watch a channel grow like this. Oh, that's nice. I hope that you all feel part of it and that we're all doing this together and growing this together, because that's certainly the way that I feel about it. And, you know, you found me when I was, well, a lot of you have been there almost from day dot. You know, I'm still barely visible now. So hopefully this will be a lovely growth thing that we do together. And, you know, you growing with me and me growing with you, and then all of us growing together and our individual bits growing, and we all just grow together and meet up and have fun. And it's all going to be rather lovely. So that was a lovely comment. Thank you very much for that. KKC says, Funky Moped, produced by Jeff Lynne and Bev on baritone vocals. Jeff had publishing rights and made a fortune. Did he really? Oh, that's fabulous. Is it me, or did Running Up That Hill by Kate Bush was all the rage last year because of that weird show, The Stranger Things? Kids wouldn't even know who Kate Bush was if they didn't worship that show. Absolutely correct. I agree, underscore, says Trace. It's getting lively. Channel growing as we watch. It's fabulous seeing the new people come along, especially when they introduce themselves on a live stream or in a comment on a video. Sometimes it's just, you know, obviously I get to see my analytics, which you guys don't. Maybe I should share them with you more. And it'll be something to do with the YouTube algorithm. But suddenly a video will suddenly get a spike in views. And if it's a half reasonable video or an interesting video or a really annoying video that stands out in some way, shape or form, you'll get a spike of subs as well. And sometimes they're just numbers and you don't know anything about them. But I love it when people introduce themselves or say, you know, I love this bit of the video and now I've subscribed, because that's really good feedback and it makes you feel really good. The numbers are nice, but when they're just numbers and you don't know what somebody's watched necessarily that made them want to subscribe, or what it was in that video that they liked, and you'd love to know that because you'd do it more. But yeah, it's it is for, oh no, Boaty, it was a live LP. Oh, well, there you go. That shows you what I know then, doesn't it? But yeah, it's, I mean, everything growing is just fabulous and really exciting. I love the way the live streams are developing. I love the fact that I kind of don't need to be here. You know, I could just, as long as the live stream is up, you guys chat amongst yourselves, and that's wonderful. The Facebook group is really taking off. That's starting to become active. People are showing themselves, they're showing their personalities. There's interaction going on all over the place. And my videos will change as well, I'm sure, because they will, hopefully, touch wood, they'll start to include more of you guys this year, because, you know, there'll be more meetups, there'll be more actual real life interaction. Even now, it's fabulous going along to the yard on a Monday and not knowing who's going to rock up there. I mean, it's like this Monday, we had lunch with Johnny Two Scoops. We didn't know that was going to happen, but it was great. The week before, we had lunch with Liz. And I love all of that, and I love getting you guys on the videos. Poor old Johnny Two Scoops had no choice. He was in two minds about ever appearing on a video, and I didn't give him a choice. And we didn't kidnap him and take him in our car. We had the cheek to take his car and do a really pants review on it. Threw him in the back, the poor sod. And whether he liked it or not, he was taken to a restaurant, bought lunch and filmed. I don't know if the film is going to go out because there's problems with the sound again. There's just too much background noise in the restaurant. And the only way that we could really do it is for everybody to be mic'd up. And I'm looking at that. I'm looking at buying a load of lavalier mics that will all connect to the same phone, and so that we can create an audio stream with that. But Mondays, and also Johnny has got Mustard and I are used to obviously we're used to making videos, so we automatically project our voices a little bit more than we might ordinarily, or we're just loud bastards naturally. But you know you're recording, so you project your voice unless you're mic'd up. I'm certainly speaking louder now because you're over there. This is a big table. This is a table that will seat 12, and you're right the other end to it than I am. So I'm naturally speaking louder than I normally would, which is probably why my throat keeps getting irritated. Johnny speaks really softly, and it's a nightmare. I'll probably put the video out with a massive apology, but it might kind of be unwatchable, apart from bits. But I don't want to not put it out because it was a lunch and it did happen, and I will find a way around it for future. But there you are. Yeah, the community thing is brilliant. The growth is brilliant, and I'm just really grateful to be part of it. Where did I get to? Yes, about here somewhere. I don't know. What's your favourite Guns N' Roses song? Probably the same as yours. It probably would be Paradise City, but with the original lyrics, not the ones they put out. Take me down to the Paradise City where the girls are fine and they got big titties, which was the original lyric, and I prefer that. Swan, behave. Pottering at 6'5" in a car, says Matt, who is taller than me. Matt is a big unit. Pottering at 6'5" in a car is challenging. Redressing afterwards without exiting the car is damn near impossible. Yeah, absolutely. I mean, obviously it depends on the car. In an XJS, whoa, bloody hell. More food talk, and now I'm hungry. Car pottering sounds not like pottering in a car. Oh, I see what you mean. Ah, right. You mean it sounds like actually pottering a car rather than pottering within one. You should have driven it. Oh, dear me. I have pies in the fridge just in case you talked about food. I tried to get a Chinese in the car earlier, but she legged it down an alley. Oh, dear. I've never done anything like that in a car, says Hooked on Classics. Oh, well. We need car news, Boaty. I've done that. Oh, Simon hasn't either. Surely everybody's done a bit of car pottering. Who hasn't podgered in a car? I mean, what about when you were kids and you were still living with your parents? Where else are you going to podger? I mean, that's what your first car was. Your first car was your podgering palace. I can't believe there are people out there that have never podgered in a car. What about when you were on a night out with your loved one and you got a long drive home and a romantic song comes on, or she strokes your thigh or you stroke hers, and you're not going to wait an hour and a half or however long it is to drive home, is it? You're going to pull over and get on with it. How do you manage? How do you manage, you people, you non-automotive podgerers, you? Greg's is overpriced and overrated. Oh, there you are. You need a Mark III Cortina estate. Boaty's round in the back seat. Boaty multitasking to the extreme, eating and poddering. Oh, I've always been a fan of combining sex and food. I mean, let's face it, if you're in for a long session, you're going to get hungry, aren't you? I mean, Bernard and I did a 14-hour stint once. You're not going to do that without a bloody meal break, are you? God above. You were halfway down a sausage roll before she was halfway down yours. I think that's how it started. That's always how it started with Chinese, madam. I think she thought that as long as she got halfway down my sausage roll, then that gave her carte blanche to carry on and do anything else she wanted, whether I was awake or not. Oh, health review. I watched Going Straight. Oh, is that what we're talking about now? Going Straight. Yeah, I tried watching an episode of Going Straight and I couldn't get through it either. Whereas Porridge, of course, was nothing short of sublime. Eating a sausage roll while poddering. Now, there's a thing. Yeah. What could possibly go wrong with a road trip to pick up a K-series? New stories next year. Boaty's right in the caravan. Oh, I'm too old for all of that nonsense now. And who the hell would be interested in this old wreck? Oh, tell people to like the video. Like the video, you people. Oh, bless you. Left your videos playing for the cat when I went out again today. Thank you. Oh, you guys are brilliant. Roger Boaty. I leave a playlist on when I go to bed. What? Adverts and all. What? Marvellous. Oh. I had a... Oh, let's not talk about K-Series and MGF's failing. I've got to get back from... Well, I may be having to get back into... I've got complete faith. I have got absolute and complete faith. And I also have AA membership. Oh, a hidden comment. Did you lock him in the back and threaten to sell his ass? No, that was just you, Simon. That was just you, I'm afraid. We didn't lock him in the back. He got in the back entirely voluntarily. And due to the locks actually working, he was able to escape at any point. At no point did we threaten to sell his ass and take and take a percentage as we did with you. We were supposedly doing a car review, although that inevitably got onto a perp, and which ultimately failed. You know what we're like, put the pair of us together and we can't do anything remotely seriously. But no, yours is the only bottom that we've contemplated selling on a managerial basis. God above. I'm amazed we didn't get locked up after that video. I watched that video back and I thought, we just sounded a little bit too serious there. Oh dear. Here's an idea you could do viewer call-ins, says Rover Joe. A very good idea, and something I've looked into, and I did one where Mustard called in the very early days of the live streams, and it's definitely something that I plan to make happen very soon. I have been thinking about it and working on it, and it absolutely will happen. I've even sorted out, I'll show it to you. This is a specific community phone with a separate number and separate everything. And that is a picture of me and Bernard on Talika Lighthouse. But yeah, so that will be the call-in phone. Sorted a SIM card out for it and everything. I'm so grown up and responsible. God above, 1 hour 36. Where did I get to? Why purists hate Jag X-Type, even though it is a very nice modern retro design and not a bad card at all. Okay, it has some flaws, but it also has its charm. So I guess you're asking, why do purists hate the Jag X-Type? Well, they hate it because it's heavily based on a Mondeo, which seems a bit silly to me. And they'll call it a Mondeo in a frock and stuff like that. Well, I'm a big fan of the Mondeo, and in my mind, there is no question that at that point, the Mondeo was by far and away the best car in its class. The best car in its class. No question. No question in my mind. I've owned many. Right? The only thing I don't like about the Mondeo is that inside, no matter which lump you've got, right? You could have the hot one, you could have the ST, and my God, they go like grease weasel droppings. Fabulous car to drive. So you could have the amazing engine, or you could have the top spec, titanium spec, but it's still a Ford Mondeo. And that was the only thing that put me off them. So to me, the X-Type is the perfect compromise. You've got a brilliant car, and you call it, people call it a Mondeo in a frock, and that's supposed to be an insult. To me, that's what makes it desirable. It's a Mondeo, an amazing car, in a frock. It's like an amazing woman who has put a little black dress on and a load of makeup and stockings and suspenders. Why wouldn't you like that? Well, that's what an X-Type is, and I think they're fabulous. They rot like hell, but so do our Rovers. Let's face it. Who hasn't done the sills on a 75? What else? The diesels blow hoses left, right, and centre. If they've got the dreaded DPF, that could be an issue. But I think they're a great car. The purists are more accepting of an S-Type because they say that's more of a Jaguar. Now, the S-Type, if you didn't know, the X-Type sits on a Mondeo chassis. The S-Type, which is more of a Jaguar, is on a Lincoln chassis. All right? So it's no more or less of a Jaguar than an X-Type is. And an X-Type is still way up there on my list. I have had one, but the X-Type that I would want, and if I had the money, there would be one sitting in my collection. I almost bought one. Not the exact one I wanted, because I couldn't afford that. But I almost bought one, went to look at it and everything, and I ended up buying Stigba and Miss Henrietta Pie instead. But my X-Type of choice would be an Estate, 3 litre V6, 4-wheel drive with the Randall handle. I desperately miss having a Randall handle in my life. It's one of my favourite things. And, you know, in many ways, I thought the S-Type was actually more flawed than the X-Type. I've had more S-Types than I've had X-Types. And I would have an X-Type in my collection without hesitation, and I would thoroughly enjoy it. There are bits of the X-Type that I love, that I prefer to the S-Type. I love, if you get the right steering wheel, the part wooden steering wheel with the thumb wheels for the stereo and the cruise control, the thumby bits. I love that steering wheel, absolutely brilliant. The Randall handle, which if you didn't know is the J-gate automatic gearbox, known as the Randall handle because it was a chap called Randall who developed it. Yeah, I'd love an X-Type. I've had an X-Type fairly recently. When I was with Boo, I had an X-Type, and it was a really fabulous car, and I would definitely have another one. Right, where did I get to? Okay. You don't need mics, says Simon. Just set one of your other phones on the table recording the sound and edit it to the video from the other afterwards. Well, Simon, that is exactly what I did on Monday. I had that phone where it was before, recording the visuals, well, recording audio and visuals, and I had this phone on the table right in the middle recording the audio. So I had exactly the same idea as you, and as a belt and braces thing, I was running it through a Dolby program to get rid of the external noise, and it still hasn't worked. It was okay-ish for me and Mustard. It wasn't picking Johnny up at all. So that was exactly my idea. I thought that would work. There's just too much background noise in there. That's the top and bottom of it. Too much background noise. You know, if it was in the yard or in a house, wouldn't be a problem at all. But yeah, I had the same idea as you, Simon. I did it properly. I did a full sync so that when I come to the edit, well, I'll tell you what, when I get round to doing the video, I'll put it out there, and, you know, hopefully you'll be able to hear a little bit of it, but you won't hear all of it. It shouldn't go out, but I don't want to waste it. But just be aware that I did what you're suggesting, mate, and didn't work. Funny how when the K series first came out, never had any head gasket issues. Another mess up of the worst car brand ever. No, they don't. Well, they kind of did have issues when they first came out. Rover have got a long history of making basic engineering mistakes, frequently to do with overheating. So, for example, in the MGF, there were cooling issues with the MGF from the outset, absolutely from the outset. But it goes way back. If you go back to the Rover P4, then the original Rover P4 were fitted with what was known as Cyclops, a centrally mounted fog light, which was striking, amazing for marketing, but not one of them stopped to think, well, this is going to fuck up the air intake, which it did. So they all overheated and blew. And they had to engineer out a problem that they engineered in the first place. So you can't blame BMW for all of that. Rover have got a long history of that. It would be hilarious if Simon just popped out of that door, rue de Mirande, and just said something simple as if it wasn't unusual. and left as if to film his own content. Okay. Then Mustard could do something similar or make a brew and interrupt the stream. You never know, I might find the third key for Henrietta in there. It is in there somewhere, Simon, and I will find it, I promise. Who's the tallest here? Then, says Rover Joe. And then James Wilson says, probably me, I'm 6'5". It's not you, James Wilson. I am also 6'5", but Matt _, who I've met, is taller than us both. And if my friend Steve is here, oh no, he won't be here because he's in Thailand at the moment. But he's here sometimes, and he's 6'7". He's the guy that's just bought a Fiat 500, the original Fiat 500. And he and I are going to filming it together. A 6'5" and a 6'7" bloke in a Fiat 500, original one. Since the three of you get along, I think editing videos to look like you all live in one house would make great content. Apologies for anyone's already doing that sort of content. Yeah, it's an idea. But then we're going to have the caravan, aren't we? No editing required. We can have all sorts of fun and games in that caravan. You know, we can have sleepovers. How funny would that be? Community sleepovers in a 2-berth caravan. Oh, and we've got an awning as well. So there could be an awning with tents and whatnot. And yeah, we could have a community camping night. We could all just rock up to a campsite and get banned from it, probably. I could do a massive cookout. That would be good fun. We all three need to meet up at yours and plan a sketch. Great idea, I'm up for that. I fancy a good chicken fried rice with curry. Can't help you with that. I've got staff curry with, what rice did I bring? Oh, pilau rice. Pilau rice tonight. Oh, that's right, because, yeah, because that was fresh. And the other rice was a day old. 14-hour stint. Did you watch Dances with Wolves? Says KK. We didn't watch anything. There's no television or anything. Well, there's no television anywhere in my house. And there certainly isn't one in the bedroom. The story, it was our second date. It was our second date, and we met at the first place as the first date, which was the Stepping Stones in Ashbourne. And we had a good night, drank too much wine. And at the end of the night, she said, are you taking me back to yours? And I said, absolutely. So we jumped in. I was in Black Betty, my UNAS lightweight roadster. So we had a fabulous, it was summer, we had a fabulous drive back here to Windy Bum from Ashbourne, roof down, smoking, holding hands, all of that sort of thing. But then when we got back here, we started drinking again and whatnot. And she just got absolutely and utterly smashed, bless her. So, gentleman that I am, I carried her up the stairs and I put her in the guest bedroom and made sure she had a glass of water, that she was safe, everything was okay, and left her there. I actually came back downstairs, made supper, had another vodka or two, and then went to bed myself in my own bed. And the next thing I remember was it's the next morning and she's climbing and she's just climbing in bed with me. That was that. I wasn't working that day. She decided not to work that day. That would have been at like 9 o'clock. 9 o'clock in the morning, something like that. And we got out of bed at about 1 or 2 o'clock the following morning. I mean, you know, we'd had a toilet break and something to eat, but yeah, that was pretty much it. And no, we didn't watch anything on television. That was a fun day, that. I remember putting something about it on Facebook during an orange break or a beverage break or something. Something along the lines of not mentioning her or what we were doing or anything like that. I just said that something along the lines that 10-hour stints in bed are definitely the way to go. And one of my very dear friends, who's in the Facebook group, who I've known forever, said, "You stud you, unless you're on your own, in which case you stud you," which just made me absolutely hell. Oh dear. Right, let's get through these comments, and it's time to bugger off again, my loves. It's 10 to 1. We're not supposed to be here at this point. Hidden comment. Oh, didn't mean to press that. "I haven't even got a car," says D-Mac, "and I still have sex in a car, boat, truck, plane, house, flat, field, chair, table, anywhere. Good for you." Oh, which of the, hang on. Car, yeah, done that. Boat, yes, done that. Truck, yes, done that. Plane, oh yes. House, obviously. Flat, yeah. Field, yeah. Table, yeah. Chair. Must have. Oh yeah, of course that. What can we add to that? Train. It's too late to think. I'll think of some more. Oh, Trace, you asked this loads of times. Which vids have the 50-minute plus ads on? I honestly don't know, and I can't remember which was the last one I found it on. I found it on 2, and I don't know if they're constant or if they change. I know the first one I found it on, I went back to it to try and watch it again, and it wasn't there. So I honestly don't know. I think it's luck of the draw. He's drinking with us every night. That AA membership is failing. Yeah. Set up StreamYard, Boaty, says Simone. A couple of people have mentioned it. Don't know what it is. Oh, somebody come and do it for me. I'm not much good at things like that, and I haven't got time to do anything. I need. Do you know what I need? I need a YouTube partner. Another one. I've got Mustard, but I need a YouTube here partner to do stuff here with, and to help me with stuff, and to film stuff with me, and to bounce off. I'd love that. I work so much better with somebody else than on my own. I really need somebody, not all the time, not every day, but, you know, here and there, now and then, to come round and to have a session with, not that sort of session, but to have a session with, and I'd be able to do so much more stuff then. And as could they, if they also had a channel. You know, we could film cars going past scenes when there's 2 of us. There's so much stuff that you can't do on your own. And they might have technical expertise in areas that I don't. And I might have expertise in areas where they don't. We could really help each other. I'd love that. It's a shame I live in the middle of nowhere, isn't it? Wouldn't it be amazing if there was somebody right here in the village who was into YouTube, or who wanted to get into it, or who was into cars, or who was into food or something, and there was, you know, I had a daytime chum that I could do stuff with. That would be a dream come true. Oh, my next question was your opinion about Mondeo. Well, you've already had it. Yeah, I think Mondeos are absolutely brilliant. Totally 100% class leader. 2007 model is too large for me. 00 to 07 is the last Mondeo for me too. I don't think I've driven the 2007 on model. The last Mondeo I had was one of the last 2000, one of the last of the, it was a 2007 car, but it was one of the last of the old shape, and that was absolutely fabulous. I'm a huge fan of them. The only thing, the only downside to them is that in terms of the interior trim, I mean, they're well put together, they're great, but they're a bit, do you know what I mean? They're just a bit dark and plasticky. And I guess I'm a wooden leather type of guy, which is why the X-Type ticked all of the boxes for me. And in fact, I'm starting to think now that I should have an X-Type. I've always been a Jag man. I've said it many times, I've always had a love-hate relationship with Jags. I love Jags, they hate me. And I've had every Jag that you can think of. Well, I haven't had a 220, obviously, but I've had pretty much all of them. I've had XJS, XJC, XJ12, XJ6, XJ40, whatever the new XJ6s were called. I've had X-Type, S-Type, I've had E-Type, I've had an XK140, I've had Mark IIs, I've had Daimler 250s, I had a Daimler SP250 Dart, but we're talking about Jags, aren't we? I've had every XJS, I've had the 3.6, the 4 litre, the V12, I've had a cabriolet and I've had a convertible. What are the Jags? Pretty much all of them, and they all hated me, and I loved them. Where do I get to? Xantia was a better car than Mondeo, other than ST200. Xantia? That one came out of the blue. I had a very long Citroen phase and I had a lot of Xantias. Don't know if I'd say it was a better car than the Mondeo. What about the S-Type Jag? Yeah, I had a couple of S-Types. I've spoken about them before. I had an early one and I had a later facelift one, and they were okay. They were flawed. They didn't massively excite me, if I'm honest. I would probably not have an S-Type. I would either go, in theory, down and have an X, or I'd go up and I'd have an XJ. I wouldn't have except for the R1, you know, the 4.2 supercharged. Obviously, I'd have one of those. But they're a car with flaws. They rotted like hell as well, just like the X-Type. The headlights always fell out, so they were always pointing at the road. The heater valves always blew. And there were no, in my mind, there were no more of a Jag than the X-Type, because they were based on a Lincoln. I would love an X-Type in my life. I really, really would. I would swap one of my Rovers for an X-Type, I think. Yeah, I would. I would like an X-Type. I hadn't realised how much I would like an X-Type, but I would like a nice X-Type. It would have to have the steering wheel with the thumbnails, ideally half wood. It would have to have the Randall handle, and ideally it would be an estate. Ideally it would be a V6. I wouldn't mind the 2.5. Wouldn't have to be the 3 litre. And again, ideally it would be all-wheel drive, but that wouldn't be a deal breaker either. The diesel was a bloody good. The X-Type I had was a diesel. God, it was quick. 75's interior wears out like shit. Wouldn't say the S-Type has aged as well as the 75 has. Might agree with that. D-Max says Rolls-Royce Silver Shadow. I don't know what that's in relation to, but I've said many, many times that a Silver Shadow is probably the car that I feel most at home in and the most comfortable in. Whenever, I haven't done it for a while, but I've owned umpteen Silver Shadows, 1s and 2s. And whenever I've got into a Shadow, I've thought, I'm home. And that's a genuine thing. That's a genuine thing. I felt more comfortable and at home as if I was in what was supposed to be my car in a Silver Shadow than any other car. Right, lots of talking cars. I'm loving these new format 1 hour live streams. We're going to 1 hour. Don't get used to it. I can't keep this up, as the Bishop said to the actress. Oh, Simon, thank you. If you want, I can have a go at editing the soundtrack with my audio programs. Just email it over if you fancy letting me have a go. You're on, dude. I will do that tomorrow. Thank you. I tried it through Dolby. Didn't help much. Maybe you've got postings, haven't you? You're clever. You can do all of that stuff. Maybe you can raise the audio as well as suppressing the background noise. Yeah, I'll get it over to you. Thank you, mate. I really appreciate that. Community camp night sounds good. I'll bring my XJS. Awesome. Perhaps I do need a roof tent. Communal camping, yeah. Right, Simon's off. Oh, Simone. Holding hands, you filthy devil. Right, yeah, it's time to say goodnight, isn't it? Cars. Oh, Simon left without a frozen wine warning. He must be tired. Okay. My next car is going to be a Jag, says Jimmy Quinn. Hooked on Classic says, getting some hanky-panky in the back of a 75 must be comfy. Not much room in the back of a 75, my lovely. Yeah, not much room. I haven't, but I have remembered, I've just remembered that I did in the back of the S-Type, but I moved the seats forward. And you could do the same in a 75. And then, yeah, it would be supremely comfortable, I imagine. And the armrest could come in handy for beverages and snacks at half-time. You know, once you'd lifted the doings up. Or you could put the lube and handcuffs in there. Gosh. One more question, and this is the last. Very important for me. Your experience with Nissan Primeras. Short, simple answer. I'm not sure that I've ever driven one. But when I had a Micra and an Almera, I was looking at buying one, and I still look at them occasionally because I like the dash layout. On one of the facelift Primeras. And I've got a family history with Nissans because my parents drove them. So I wouldn't be at all averse to a Primera. And that's it, my loves. That is it. It is time to say good night. Dacia P12. I don't know the right. I don't know the model codes on that, but the one from I don't know 2004, something around there, where it's got that like central bit to the dash. I think that looks really funky. But I got a bit scared of them when I had that problem with the chain stretch on the Almera, and it appeared that Primaris suffered with the same thing. But there we are. Okay, right, my lovelies, it's time for me to head off and get some eats and sleepies, and you need to do the same thing too. But hey, we will be back together again almost before you know it, tomorrow night, in fact, 11 o'clock. And hopefully everything will work better tomorrow and it will not be so bloody annoying. I will try and get a video out tomorrow night at the correct time rather than at God only knows what time it was tonight. I hope you're not too annoyed by the slightly weird video that went out tonight when you catch up with it. And yeah, that's it. Thank you as always. And well, you know what's coming now, don't you? Get that funky stuff going. I'll do it at the end. I love this. Oh, bollocks. See you tomorrow, my love. When once again we'll do it like they do in Scunthorpe.
The name's Roger Boaty. Mr. George Roger Boaty.
Good night, my lovelies. You take care. Have a safe and peaceful night. Stay warm and stay healthy. And if we're spared, I'll see you tomorrow night. Good night, my loves. One of these nights that fucking button will work.